Hello! We are the Brothers Geek. This is our podcast. My name is Patrick Schmaltz with my two brothers. Christopher Schmaltz. Hello, Christopher. I didn't hear that, Christopher.
Hello.
There
There
it
it
is.
is.
There it is. And my other brother, Andrew. Hello, Andrew.
Hi. Good morning.
Good morning. We're Brothers for Geeks. This is episode number 176. We're talking House of the Dragon, or Hot D if you're a child.
It's so lewd. I love it.
We resemble that.
Yes.
We do. We are it's
are
so lewd and so fun.
We are definitely children.
This
Yeah.
is straight up spoilers for episode 2, the Rogue
Yeah.
Prince of season 1. If you're listening to this in the far flung future,
No whining.
the internet is forever, so I guess people could be
No
listening.
whining if shit gets spoiled. No.
Yeah, when you discover this episode 3 years from now.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah, no whining.
Yes, 176 season 1. The Rogue Prince. You've been warned. This is September 3rd, 2022, just in case, for 3 years from now. Three years from now, listener. Okay.
You're discovering this during Joe Biden's second term as president.
Wow.
Years from now.
Oh, 1,000 years from now? Oh, yeah. Caveman who picked this hard drive up off the ground and has plugged it back in, rebuilt. He's rebuilt hard drives that he's found to recreate the internet.
Cave person.
Cave person.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're talking House of the Dragon, Hot D. Hot D. This is episode 2.
We'll
So
never do that again.
Hold on. Let's just start from the title. The
Never.
title.
And if any of you use it, it's a fine.
Fine. You can't impose fines.
you
You're not the
can't
boss of me.
you can't oppose fines.
You can't
Fine.
impose fines. You're not the boss of me.
I am.
Which is a perfect segue to this episode's title, The Rogue Prince, where Daemon, the brother to the king, is basically saying to his brother, "You're not the boss of me.
That's
Well,
right.
I do what I want."
Well, okay. I want to go.
What are your guys' thoughts on the A plot with Daemon Targaryen taking Dragonstone as his own and announcing he's gonna marry his commoner? This is the show's term, commoner whore, and he's gonna father an heir with this whore he's gonna marry, even though he's already married. He's been dispossessed.
She is. I mean, I don't like the word whore. It sounds sort of
Neither do
harsh.
I hate it.
But like she is a lady of the night. I mean,
Well,
She is a sex worker.
she is a
Absolutely.
sex worker. Right.
And
So
she's been a slave most of her life.
there's a pretty interesting scene that I feel like gives her some agency that I really liked. Her sort of like, I don't like that the game that you're playing with me. She's a pawn. She's a
hates
pawn.
it that she's a pawn in
right,
Daemon's game.
Right.
Music,
Because they'll probably try to kill her. Because
Absolutely. If she's pregnant and she sires an heir,
Yes.
or that's the plan, that's Daemon's plan, which I don't think this is really a plan that he was taking seriously.
Well-
he just wanted to stir
child.
shit
He's a child.
and get attention from his brother. He's like, you disinherited me, but guess what? I'm still powerful. I'm still a player. I'm going to get your attention, and this is how I'm doing it, by directly threatening your daughter's inheritance.
You're missing something, Andrew. That this
Okay.
whole stir up gets started by him stealing a dragon egg for his
Yes.
unborn child, and that's
Yeah.
like I forget what the writing term is sort of like the beginning of conflict. It's like the choice was made to like start the big story of the episode is he steals an egg that starts this whole discussion. But like the B plot, which is like sounds like it's going to be like an overarching plot, they introduce this crab feeder guy. They call him the crab feeder.
Yeah, he's essentially a pirate king in the Stepstone.
He's the B plot. You're right, but he's going on for a bit here. Like it looks like, and I watched the trailer for next week also, and it looks like there's going to be some conflict with him. But the A plot for this episode is he steals the egg. He's taken over Dragonstone. He's said he's going to marry this woman and sire a new heir. He's got the gold cloaks with him. He's got these guys who he's rallying troops around him. He's got a dragon. He's a problem. The prince,
100%.
the king, like we're starting to see like there's, especially in this world, a fascinating character who doesn't want to fight. He's a king that doesn't want to kill his brother, doesn't want to like push things, wants to avoid conflict until, and that's like really strange for Game of Thrones. Everybody just wants to kill each other left and right and don't give a fuck. And it's like
this is the interesting part about Viserys. He hates being king. I am of the opinion that all the evidence points to he hates being king.
Well,
it was forced upon him by the Great Council. He would have been much happier if his cousin Rhaenys was king, but now that it's his, he understands the duty to protect his house and to protect the realm because he has Aegon's prophecy. He was given that information, so he feels the duty to protect his house and protect their line because they will eventually save Westeros.
You're talking. You're definitely hitting the nail on the head that people don't understand. Everybody like wants to be king until you actually are, and the duty. Your life is not your own anymore, right? You're sort of like you're,
and that's why
you
find
right. You
little
are.
Moments.
Hold on. You hold on. You spoke. I get to speak.
You talked a lot. It's my turn. Shut up. So Viserys, he's finding these are perfect little character moments of him where he's finding like these private moments, and he finds it with Alicent because they're bonding over like that grief of losing someone very close to them. He's got this model that he's making in his private chambers that is of old Valyria. So you've got these little moments where he's trying to find something personal and that's only his because he is so pulled into like, you know, he's just kind of a simple guy and he has to be king and he's not very good at it because he doesn't want the power. It's almost like you can't be a good king unless you are desperate for the power.
So hold on. You're bringing up a few points that I want to touch on for a second here is you talked about Alicent and that whole like by the end of the episode, she's chosen to be the new queen, the wife of Viserys. Was that a whole manipulation by Otto Hightower, or is she like obviously not like a direct manipulation, but maybe like, hey, here's an option, because he's not directly saying like you should marry my daughter, but he's obviously like get close, and
100% a manipulation.
Yeah.
I mean,
okay.
He has identified a weakness in the king, and he is exploiting that by having his daughter sort of reach out to fill that void in the king's life with the idea of consolidating power, holding on to power. All of that is happening.
How much is Alicent involved in that though? Like obviously he's sort of pushing her into the room.
She's a dutiful daughter only. Like
she seems innocent. She seems very like she's been pushed into this too. She's obviously very nice to the king, but
loyal to her father. She's loyal, and so she's gonna do. She sees it. She's smart.
But she's also I think she's a naturally caring person.
Well, you all glossed over the A plot. At the very beginning, it's not like this just happened. It's 6 months gap.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And so the rogue prince is not he just went to Dragonstone. He went there and has been there for 6 months.
Yeah.
And they haven't done anything about it. And then what prompts the A plot is the event of the stealing of the egg. It's like, you're ignoring me. And the king very clearly by choice is ignoring him because he doesn't want to cause a conflict.
He ignores all his problems. Yeah. He's just like, well, if I don't face things directly, it'll just kind of go away. That's his default position.
And then Daemon, who's tired of that, says, all right, I am going to do something that gets more attention. So he's a child. He's a child. He's a petulant child with a dragon.
Well, I mean, you got to imagine, like, these guys are pretty, spoiled brats. They've been the ruling house for, hundreds of years, right? So it's sort of, yeah. Anyways.
Well, and then they have the inherited belief that they are superior to everyone around them because they are Valyrian blood
Right.
and because they are dragon riders. Even though, I mean, just another example of Viserys not wanting the power is he rode Balerion the Black Dread, but he never took another dragon. He could try to take another dragon.
Right.
There are dragons he could try to ride, but he doesn't want the power. That's the perfect example of it. He had the ultimate weapon in the world. That weapon died, and he's like, I'm never going to take another dragon. Yeah. Probably because when he was on Balerion's back, he was like, holy shit, this is way too much power for any person to have. And he never rode another dragon in his life. Balerion's been dead in this timeline for like 25 years.
So I have like I mean, we're sort of touching on like the end result. The end result is he picks Alicent, right? And obviously he doesn't pick the Valyrian of
Rhaenyra.
What was her name?
Rhaenyra Valerion.
He doesn't pick her solely by her age. I mean, here's I get it that are like throughout history, people are marrying very young, especially when you're the oldest person in the room is like 40, 45. So like they were marrying people off. Like even in the books, I feel like Daenerys is played by a full-grown woman. In the book, I feel like she's 15.
Yes.
Yes. So it's like, think about that, guys. Like she's 15 years old, and this little girl is 12, obviously. But like, and the only reason he doesn't want to marry her, but like all the things sort of line up in my head of like, this is a good like combining of houses, besides the obvious like the creepy factor, old dude, little girl. But like you want to be with this house, and he ends up pissing off one of his strongest lords because of that one little reason. So I get it. Like it seems I think there's a little bit of like our modern sensibilities that are pushing against this. But like, he's alienating one of his lords big time by choosing her.
Also, going back to the idea that he wants something for himself, he doesn't like being hoisted in.
Oh, sure.
He struggles against his duty versus his personal needs. He likes Alicent. He actually enjoys her company as a person.
Right.
So that I'm sure plays into his decision.
And it's not. And the point that. The point that I saw is that it's not out of character for him.
Mm-hmm.
Like your point, Andrew, about he didn't take up another dragon. That would be the right decision for the king, ruler. That's a source of power. You have to have it, but you can opt to never use it, kind of thing, right? I mean, that decision is against his own interest by not selecting another dragon. And this episode and the choice that he makes with regard to a new wife is against his king regime, political power, interest. And all of that is of the same sort of continuum of character.
Yeah.
So.
I don't want to like jump ahead of this too much, but I'm there in my notes. Did anybody else get like super chills when they're standing on the bridge and they're facing off against each other, and there's one dragon sitting on the freaking thing, and you're just like, fuck.
One of the best Game of Thrones scenes ever.
And you're sitting there and you're like, what the hell are they gonna do? They're like, no matter what, like sword fight, whatever, it's like you're gonna have to deal with that dragon. Like you're like, it's the ultimate like trump card. It's like, like we could sword fight right now, but like guess what? That thing's gonna kill you. Like that you are dead.
when there's two on the bridge.
Yes. She flies in. The music swells up. She comes under the clouds. She flies around. The music changes. And you're just like, what? Like, I just got chills thinking about it again. I actually like exclaim. I had my headphones on and I was watching it on my iPad, and I actually exclaimed like to Hannah, and she's just like, "What are you talking about?" I'm trying to explain this moment to somebody who didn't see it. Like, it's like, this is the nerdiest moment in the world, but it's so awesome, and holy, and like only Targaryen could deal with a Targaryen. Sort of like, that's the real thing that they're saying in this scene is like everybody else on the earth, it's a dude that you're dealing with, but then you got a dragon that you got to deal with too, you know.
Well, and it's Rhaenyra too. It's the character moment for her of
right. She gets it back.
She gets it back. She struggled with people paying attention to her. She's the heir now.
Oh, yeah.
She feels that sense of duty. She's been given the Targaryen secret, and her father, in his grief, can't deal with her. Doesn't want to deal with her. All those things are playing into it, and then she has this moment where, yes, I am a dragon rider.
Yeah.
Send me. When she says send dragon riders, she's saying send me. Yeah. I'm your daughter. I'm the dragon rider. I can deal with Daemon. And
we haven't seen the other dragons in this, but they did hint at that there's 10, right? Like there's.
Well, Rhaenys is the princess Rhaenys.
Yes.
Rhaenys. She is a dragon rider. She has her own dragon.
Yes.
Daemon has a dragon. There's a couple other dragons that haven't been claimed that live on Dragonstone.
Well, and it was in the opening credits of the first episode was that there's 10 living dragons currently, and they even discuss the largest living dragon, like his rider died and he's off somewhere that no one knows where he is, and there's like rumor about where he's at.
Vhagar, the last of the original three heads of 3 dragons that rode and conquered Westeros. She's like 200. She's a she-dragon. She's like 200 years old now, I think.
Wow.
She's the oldest living dragon. She's enormous. Like, they make the point to say that she's too big, he or she, I can't remember, that they are too big to live in the Dragon Keep. Like, they don't fit. She's going to be bigger than Drogon. When we see her, she's enormous.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, it's going to be cool. And she will play a huge role. She will play an enormous role in the war that's coming.
You skipped over the point that I was going to make, that I'll make right now, which is that whole sequencing with Rhaenyra, that demonstrates that she's the smartest person in the room.
Yes.
Because she understands the two dynamics that are happening. The power dynamic of you can't send the hand with some soldiers to Dragonstone to try to recover the egg that was stolen.
Right.
So she understands the power dynamic. You have to, someone who has a dragon has to go. And the second power dynamic is she understands the pointlessness of her brother's petulant action. Mm-hmm. She that's why she's able to go there and say, what are you doing? What is your end game here?
Yeah. Rhaenyra is already working on the political and personal level.
Absolutely. Yeah. She's working on a much higher level than anyone else.
Yeah.
So I love that scene for that.
All this evidence points towards she's going to be a great queen. So all of this evidence, she sees all the. And
like this show, like, though, I feel like she's probably never going to be that. Just to say that out loud, like, I mean, who knows where this goes? But like, anybody who's good that we like ends up dying. That's just that's just Game of Thrones, guys. Like, just accept that.
I didn't say necessarily that she's good. I said that she understands what's at work.
Right.
Yeah.
So
whether she ends up being a character we root for versus someone who, even though, hey, the smartest people in the room sometimes are undone by circumstance, undone by variables out of their control. And so
undone by their own arrogance, like Littlefinger.
Undone by their own arrogance, right? So that is just I liked it for the character reveal, insight into her, which is she's got all of these variables and she understands it all, and that
Well,
Yeah.
and the rest of them in the room don't understand that, or at least the king doesn't.
so I since we're talking about it, like there's a bit of like her arc throughout the episode is like she's still the cupbearer 6 months later, even though she's been made the next rightful queen and the heir, and then she is at the table and they're sort of discussing something, and there's a problem with this crab feeder guy, and she proposes that they show up to the free cities with dragons, and like it's a show of force, but you're also gonna talk to them and be like, dude, what's going on? The king shoots this down, and he says basically, go off and do your thing. So then she goes off to do. She gets go pick a new Kingsguard, right? So she goes off to pick Kingsguard, and then we see what's his name, Christian Cole or what? Christian Cole,
Yep.
Sir Christian Cole. She's chosen by him for the Kingsguard, so he just keeps getting inserted into the main plot. This random guy that like I the end of the episode. The show creators keep talking about how like he's pivotal, he's a big deal. It's like he's just like a side character. Like why
Dude.
don't tell me spoilers on episode 2, bro. Like you're spoiling the show. Like why?
He's not spoiling anything.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Like how great would it be if you get to episode 8 and like the guy that they've been like peppering in the whole time suddenly does something awesome, but now I know to watch his ass. Like now I know he's gonna do something.
You should know to watch his ass anyway. Just how they build story.
Yeah. Anyways, okay, so she picks that. Then she goes to pray, and she's dealing with her grief over her mother. She goes to pray with Allison. Allison tells her to talk to her father. She talks to her father. They like work some stuff out about they're both grieving. He doesn't know what to choose. He confesses to her that he's got to get married again. So she's doing this. She's like realizing that she's probably going to lose her power. She sees her father with the little girl and then she has a whole discussion with the not queen, the never was a queen. And she basically says that like men in Westeros aren't going to let women have power. Like they're going to get rid of you, like in some way, right?
That's Rhaenys' own bitterness, though. That is her. I was passed over, and the way that she's worked through that and has accepted it, is that men will never let any woman be powerful.
Right.
When it really could have been, they just didn't want you to have power because they didn't trust your ass. That could be it. But
it's a good point.
She has justified it to herself, saying men will never let a woman have power. And Rhaenyra is like, yeah, they didn't want your ass to be queen, honey, but they knelt to me. So she's already feeling that.
Right. This is the beginning of her like pushing back. Is like she didn't want the power in the first episode, and this is 6 months later where it's like, dude, I'm going to be queen. I'm going to be in charge of this shit. I might as well push back against anybody who says, including my father, because eventually I'm going to be in charge. Eventually I'm in charge of all this shit. And if people know that I don't show up and like do what I want with my you steal from me, I'm gonna show up. Or you fuck with my kingdom, I'm gonna show up. That's what her ruling, her new ruling thing is.
She already at 15, she's already got a stronger personality than her father does.
Right.
I mean,
or a willingness to fight, a willingness to show up and fight. Right.
She loves her dragon. She bonded with that. She's been a dragon rider since she was 7.
Is her dragon's name Dreamfire? Is that what it is? That's the egg.
That's the egg. Dreamfire is an unclaimed dragon right now, I think. No, that's Caraxes. I think Dreamfire is the dragon that Rhaenys rides. Did we lose Christopher?
Christopher's camera went off. Now I'm Christopher. Oh,
I'm back.
There we go.
Back.
There we go.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm loving. I can't. I said it out loud to Ashton, and I I've been saying it to myself all week. I can't believe how good this show is already. Like, I am totally sucked in to this show.
It's pretty good. So, okay, so just to finish my character through line here, she shows up on the bridge. We talked about that. Already showed that she got the egg back. She goes back. She sits down with her father, fully armored, smelling of dragon. And, like, I'm going to show up. She explains herself. Like, we got to do this. We got to deal with your brother. Like, this isn't cool. Then, by the end of the episode, she picks Alicent, he picks Alicent, which is like her friend, and she walks out pissed off, like she feels a little bit.
I think she's heartbroken because I think she loves Alicent.
Oh yeah, that's her like only friend, and
I think it's more than that, dude. I think that she loves Alicent. I think that there's a romantic love. Like Alicent, I mean, she's her only companion, but the affection and the way that she spoke about her and to her in episode 1 about how she wants her to ride her dragon with her, about how she just wants it to be the two of them. It could be very innocent, like young crush, but I think it feels to me like it's a crush. Like she loves her.
Sure.
So
could be. I mean, there are people who are. On that scale in this world for sure.
Absolutely.
So, okay, so that sort of like sums up her storyline. She walks out. She's not happy with the choice. She's not happy with being passed over. We got a new episode tomorrow, so we'll see like what transpires. But do you guys have anything else? I wanted to say one more thing that I noticed. It's like the Kingsguard helmets, they don't look comfortable, and they look kind of goofy. Like just like it's just a thing that I noticed. It's like I like armor and I like weapons and I like they look a little like they're pushing on this guy's face. He's like this, and I don't know. They look silly to me. So.
I'm just glad they're wearing helmets. I am.
You would absolutely wear a helmet.
I get triggered when someone's going into battle, and they don't wear a helmet. I'm like all
of Jon Snow in the Battle of the Bastards not wearing a helmet. You got to see
not even carrying a shield.
You got to see that. Yeah, you got to see the actor's face, right? Like you got to see the actor's face. I mean, that is not reality. Your brain would get smushed. Like you would definitely die. You definitely die. Like,
you die in a second.
A horse would hit you and you'd have a concussion. Like you'd just be done. Like sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, they're not going full Mando where you don't see the actor's face ever. But clearly the uncomfortableness of the helmets. At least they're wearing helmets, and so but you can see that it's the actor and they're acting in this helmet. But yeah, I'm just glad they're wearing helmets because it's so triggering to me to watch. I mean, it's fantastic battle scenes, and it's. Lord of the Rings is guilty of the same thing. The only person that wears a damn helmet is freaking Gimli. I mean, Aragorn goes through the entire battle of Helm's Deep without wearing a helmet.
You should definitely wear it. If you're battling in medieval times, guys, you definitely wear a helmet, okay?
Yeah.
You just like...
Impact weapons everywhere. Wear a helmet.
That's the title of this episode. If you're in a medieval battle, wear a helmet. That's it.
Yes. That's our hot take.
That's our hot
take from this episode.
Yeah.
Keep wearing helmets.
Okay.
Keep wearing helmets.
I had a thought too, and I've always had this kind of thought, is like all these worlds, Westeros, Middle Earth, they have thousands of years of history, behind them. Why hasn't there been any changes in technology? Like they're still wearing armor, they're still wearing they're still using swords. Like
because the ability to create gunpowder doesn't exist in this world.
Is that it? Is that all?
Yeah.
But like the difference between metals, like you would make different armors and different sword types. There are within a few.
It's eventually invented, right? There's things that.
But like
wildfire,
Bronze Age versus medieval, versus Egyptian age. Like there's different sword types. There's different sword makes.
Well, and
it's always sort of like European medievalism for thousands of years, like 200 years, nothing's changed. Like,
well, think about. I mean, the children of the first men,
yeah,
the first men that lived in the north and were the first human inhabitants of Westeros.
but you're
They
talking
didn't
like
ha- hold
5,000
on.
years ago, right? Like,
But yeah, let me make my point.
Yeah.
They didn't ride on horseback. They didn't have plate armor. They
Mm.
they had shields and spears. They was very much like the Romans or
Right.
like early Celtic peoples. And now the Rhoynar are eventually had the ability to make plate armor, and the Andals were horsemen, and they came across.
yeah,
And they
you're
brought the
talking
knight
thousands
culture.
of years, right? I mean, I
Yeah,
guess you're
well,
sort
it's
of
like 5,000 years.
well,
6,000 years.
and I will say this is like the horse riders. I'm blanking on those guys' names right now.
The Dothraki.
Dothraki, thank you. They have like the cool Egyptian sword that I like, the curved blade sword.
Yeah.
I can't
The
remember.
arc. It's called an arc. In the game, it's called, or in the TV show, it's called an arc.
Yeah, dude, I love those kinds of swords. I think they're really cool. And good for fighting and gets people with armor because you can like lock them up.
Oh, and I've always had a tiny little bit of an issue with the portrayal of the Dothraki in the show, because in the book they're much more like Mongols. They're not the kind of they're not the savages who just jump on horseback. I mean, Genghis Khan existed in the 12th century. He was very much a medieval warlord.
Right.
His heavy cavalry. I mean, on horseback, they were horse archers. That's why they had a type of battle maneuvers that people just couldn't counter because they were so fast and so good on horseback.
Well, yeah, if you could shoot accurately from horseback, you could destroy anybody. I mean, you can't be killed. You're on horse, so it's like you. Anyways, we're in the weeds a little bit, but like there are little things like that. It's like, how come things haven't changed a bit? I would love to see some big differences, even if they're goofy helmets. And I do want to see like different kinds of armor, different different like shapes, different like an evolution of technology a little bit. Like I don't know. I guess I don't see it yet. It is only a couple hundred years, so maybe, but I don't know.
The Star Wars universe, they've had hyperspace technology for 25,000 years.
Thank you. Like, how come nothing has like advanced, or new technology isn't being created, like really faster ships, or like better shields, or yeah.
There's a counterpoint to that, in that in original Game of Thrones, they invent the ballista. When the dragons reemerge.
It's true.
So it may be that this world lacks some of the components of what we would call gunpowder, and we are getting such a sort of narrow slice of time,
right?
That it took thousands of years before gunpowder was invented on Earth. Thousands of years of human history.
Mm-hmm.
Thousands of years just to improve sword technology, dude.
Right.
From 2000 BC to medieval times. So that timeline is legit, and wasn't invented until 900s.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Yeah. I guess we're just sort of seeing it through that lens. I just go off of like the Lord of the Rings timeline, or this timeline where it's been 5,000 years or wherever. But I guess you're right that like 5,000 years ago was like people in the forest, like elves, like 6,000 years. Is that?
Yeah. No, they were using sticks against each other.
Sticks. Yeah, exactly. Sticks and rocks and magic. It's like
they could sharpen one.
So yeah. Good point. It's a good point.
Haven't you ever seen 2001: A Space Odyssey? The obelisk come down and teaches the proto-humans to use weaponry. Bones as weapons. This is how that shit works.
Balls as weapons.
The obelisk has not arrived on the planet Westeros. Put this shit together, dude.
You're definitely combining. I love it. Cool. Anything else that you guys want to discuss about the episode, or was that enough?
That's enough, I think. I think we covered our bases.
Okay.
No, wait. I have one more thing.
You got one more
What?
thing?
How lovely was it, a return to the different but very much Game of Thrones intro with the music.
Oh, we didn't even talk about it. I
love that. Love that.
Well, I will say I have two comments about this. One, I would have liked a different theme. I don't mind the Game of Thrones theme, but this is a different show. Give me a different theme. Second, what is happening with the blood? I know they're sort of making a family tree kind of a thing. This is this house. This is this house. But I can't see what it is. Like, they're not lingering on it long enough, so I can't understand what house symbol that is, what house symbol this is.
It's all Targaryen. Like, I watched the video, if that's how I know. I had the same problem you did. I'm like, what are they trying to do here?
Yeah,
it's all because they don't associate the name of the actor with the sigil as it appears on screen.
Yeah.
So it's a model. It's Viserys' model in his house of the Old Valyria, in his apartments in Old Valyria. The running blood traces the lineage of the rulers of Westeros, the Targaryen kings. Starts with Aegon, goes to Aenys and Maegor, then it goes to Jaehaerys, and then it runs to Rhaenys, and now through Viserys.
That's some deep diving internet guys who are watching and pausing, because you can't see that just watching it. You can't figure that out. It goes too fast. I
am okay with the opening music being the same.
Yeah.
I think the opening titles are cool. So George R.R. Martin has said that he would love HBO to have a whole World of Ice and Fire, like the MCU or the Star Wars universe, where you tell all these stories in the same world. I'm fine with that. And if the idea is the same opening credit music with different images plays to kind of link them together, I think that's kind of cool. If that's what they're doing, if that's the idea. Yeah, exactly.
Well, I like music. I like music, and I always I hated that Peter Jackson used the Lord of the Rings themes in The Hobbit. I feel like this is a different movie. This is a different set of movies. Give me more music. I want more. I don't like recycled music. I hate it. I want I want fresh music.
So
have the same composer. That's fine.
You're upset with the fact that through the 9 Star Wars saga films, we have the same Star Wars theme in every single film.
Kinda
that's bullshit. The Star Wars theme is the greatest piece of cinematic music ever made, and you're full of shit. You're wrong. You're so wrong. Your point is moot. Lawyers.
You're so dumb.
Fine. Okay, I guess I'm dumb.
Yes.
No trivia, because we're gonna do a bunch of trivia at the end of this hot takes.
The big blowouts for season 1. There's gonna be 10 trivia questions.
Whoa. Okay, so if you'd like to submit trivia questions to Andrew, you should email him at kingdomthenorth52@gmail.com. Email the podcast, brothersgeekpodcast@gmail.com.
Please comment on Patrick's dumb idea.
Please comment on Patrick's dumb thoughts.
Watch us on YouTube. We're recording with faces
watching
now.
On
you can
YouTube
see our faces.
On Brothers Geek on YouTube, and then I think we're Brothers.
The Brothers Geek Schmaltz. There's other Brothers Geek on YouTube.
There's others Brothers Geek. Yes,
you gotta look us up. Schmaltz. Brothers Geek Schmaltz on YouTube.
Which is surprising. They don't have as many episodes as us. Just saying. If we're measuring dicks here.
It is an episode about the hot D.
It is a hot D. Yeah, let's. Chris is writing it down. He's writing it down to fight us.
Optimize.
You should follow us on Twitter, brothers_geek at Twitter. Brothers Geek do stuff on Instagram.
Brothers Geek will be at Tucson Comic Con and we'll be at Saboten Con this weekend in various forms. So we'll be posting pictures.
Look for photos on the gram.
Yeah,
if
you're in the Tucson area, if you're in the Phoenix area, they're doing that. Look for pictures. Yeah, that's about it. Thanks for listening, everybody. Oh yeah, we're on iTunes and Spotify and all that stuff. So go find us.
Download us, like and subscribe.
Mothersgeek.com. Okay. Thanks for listening. We'll be back again with episode 3. Keep watching.
For more ideas, come back for more ideas.